digital copy will also go out as soon as we're done here. And that includes links to everything online as well. Testing. Mic check. Is everyone good?
Good afternoon. I'm Phil Holliday, the budget chair, here with council leadership and the vice chair of the budget committee, Kevin Kramer. Should all recognize that we have heard the same address that you heard. The budget book, the actual budget is online now, but has not been available to us. So there are limited answers that we can get to some questions that you might have. Just a couple of comments about the budget. It is a lot nicer to be dealing with this budget than when we were looking at millions of dollars in cuts a few years ago. There has been much collaboration between the administration and Metro Council in the preparation of the budget, and that always helps with the process, and we're grateful for that. But we still have a lot of choices to be made about how to make the best decisions to use tax dollars, and we'll begin that process very soon. We will have 30 or so hearings. They will start on May 9th at 3 o'clock. That will all be in the press release that you'll receive. A public comment form is available now on Metro Council website. It will stay up until June 3rd at 5 p.m. And so we encourage the public to make their comments about what they like in the budget, what they don't like in the budget, and what they'd like to see funded in different ways. There will also be 2 public hearings where members of the public can come and speak either at Metro Council or through WebEx. Those are May 18th at 6 o'clock, June 2nd at 6 o'clock. And you will sign up for those the day before. And again, all the information is on the Metro Council website as to how to do that. I don't know, Kevin, you want to speak next? Kevin Kramer, the vice chair of the committee.
I would just thank you for being here. I would reiterate what Councilman Hollander said. It's going to be nice to work on a budget where we aren't trying to figure out how to keep the doors open. So it's going to be nice to have a different kind of problem this year. I'm looking forward to opportunities to see where we can use some of the resources that are one-time revenues to take care of things that into the future will actually save us money and make it easier for future councils as they struggle through the budget process. So, as he said, again, we haven't seen all the specifics yet. We know that it's a much easier discussion to be had this year than some of the discussions we've had in the past, and we're looking forward to getting to work. So thank you again for being here. President James.
And I would just simply say that I'm very pleased with the way that the collaboration between the mayor's office and the council as we prepared for this budget this particular year. We look forward to continuing that process throughout this budget process. I wish we could tell you some details about what we think about certain parts of the budget, but what I said before, we have not seen it yet. It was released while we were in the meeting upstairs. So we'll get a chance to see it over the next coming days, and then we'll have some more comments to provide to you. Marcus?
Thank you all for being here. I would say, first of all, I think what was presented today is a testament to the strength and resilience of our local economy. And I think that's something we should all be proud of and look for that growth to continue in the future. I'd also compliment the administration on the recognition and investments in public safety, particularly around policing, making record investments in a new police headquarters, a new LMPD training facility, which I believe, and I think others on council also believe, are critical to getting us back up to force strength where we need to be, attracting officers and letting them know that we're making the sorts of investments in them that are critical, that show that we've got their back. And then also making the upstream investments in the sort of preventative things that address the root causes of violent crime. So I would compliment the administration on that recognition and that funding. I also personally am very excited about the funding both for the Another Way program, which I think has shown incredible success, as well as the Clean Collaborative, which I think is a program that all Louisvillians appreciate when Metro staff is out there picking up litter and making our city a beautiful place to be. And finally, I'd say, doing this in a fiscally responsible way, we're also putting money away for the future to make sure that we're not facing a budget challenge a year or 2 years from now is fiscally responsible and I think it's a step in the right direction. Thank you.
Good evening. A couple quick comments first. Good news. I do want to say I appreciate the focus, or it seems to be the focus, on infrastructure in this budget. As Councilman Kramer said, we need to be investing in the things that are going to save money for this city on an operating basis moving forward. We've had significant deferred maintenance issues in this city, and I'm glad to see that there's been a significant investment in that, as well as money set aside for the rainy day fund and other protections that will shore up this budget for the future. My only comment would be, I do want to voice some thoughts and concern. The mayor talked about partnering with every member of this council. We have 26 members on this council who represent a wide variety of geographies and populations and groups of people. And I just hope that as council looks at this budget and we scrutinize the details, we do two things. Number one, even in good times, we need to reinforce the budget rigor that we did when times were tough. Unfortunately, what happens with budgets in the public sector, when times are good and money's flowing, you see people start to get loose with their principles. And we can't do that even in good times. And the other part is to ensure that the infrastructure spending, the neighborhood spending affects the entire city. This is a big city. If you go from the eastern end of my district, you can get to Frankfurt faster than you can get to the southwestern corner of this district, of the city. That's how big and diverse it is. And we need to make sure that each of those areas, particularly the areas of growth in this city, are being supported by the appropriate infrastructure support. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And just to reiterate what Councilman Piagentini said, I was happy to hear about investments in infrastructure. We still have a lot to do there, a long way to go. We've come a long way since I've been on council, which has been almost 5 years. I think also we need to be very careful when spending money, not to be creating bureaucracy and more added overhead than we need, because a lot of these ARP funds will be expiring over a period of time, and we don't want to saddle future councils with having to make tough decisions. So all in all, the devil's in the details, and I'm looking forward to reading it. Thank you.
Do we have any questions?
As a live streamer, I have an instant ability to respond to things that are coming up on my stream. And one of the questions that came up is there a line item in the budget for any kind of permanent memorial to the social justice uprisings that occurred in 2020?
We have not seen the budget yet. We were upstairs when the budget was released. So,
And would Metro Council support that?
again, we haven't seen the budget yet.
Do you have any concerns about how late the budget came to you guys, or is this something that you come to expect?
This is the way that the current administration does that. So this is the way that it operates. Yes.
Before 2017, it came almost a month late.
Exactly.
So
We're good.
Now, we know you guys just saw some highlights from there. Just hearing the price of $1.3 billion, do any of you have a reaction to that specific price tag?
I don't have a reaction to that at this point. I don't know if anybody else does, but we really have to see what is the details of the particular budget. As Councilman Hollander was saying, back in 2017, he passed a law that requires the mayor to present the budget when he did in April. It used to be May sometime before the mayor produced it. And we had much less time in order to prepare the budget for the July 1 deadline. So we were looking forward to details.
I can make one comment about that. On that top line number, I mean, that includes all sources. So we're not talking about general fund money. We're also talking about this large influx of federal money that we have that's come to the city, which is a blessing, and we'll make good use of it. But it won't always be here, and that's really how we get the kind of top line number. And state money too, of course. All sources. He also talked about donations from foundations and other sorts of things. So that's really a large top line.
The mayor did say for the LMPD recruiting classes, he thinks it could get to 1,200 officers by 2025. I know LMPD has said that to me. I think closer to 1,300 officers. I don't know if you have any initial reaction to that.
Actually, he said 1,100 officers.
this year.
For this year,
Yeah, 1,200 with us.
By 2025.
yes.
Do you have any reaction on whether LMPD still needs more? They've said we're about 300 short right now.
So we are 300 short, and we need to get those 300 officers. We need to have a fully staffed police department. Anything else?
What are your general thoughts on that whole public safety picture as you posed it just now?
My general thoughts is that public safety is the number one responsibility of government, and so making sure that we fully fund our public safety sector is very important to the majority of council members.
Yeah, I'll just add something, and this is a question we're constantly addressing with our constituents. We allocate money, we set policy, the mayor executes on that policy. So we've been fully funding many programs for quite some time that still haven't been fully executed. So the other thing we're going to do beyond funding and fully funding public safety is providing the oversight that's necessary to make sure all these things are getting done. And I think that's going to be a significant part of the budget process, is to ask what's been done with prior funding and then ensure that we have proper oversight moving forward.
Given that this is the Mayor Fisher's last budget address, and a new mayor will essentially be administering or executing this budget for half of the fiscal year, if not a little bit more. What are your thoughts about just it being Mayor Fisher's last budget and what he actually presented here?
I would just re-echo what Mayor Fisher said. He didn't present a budget where we're trying to decide how bad the cuts are going to be and what we need to do to survive. We're actually in a place where we're trying to decide how we can best serve the citizens of this community efficiently and effectively. So I can't really comment on the details of what's in that budget because we have not yet seen it. But this is the mayor's last budget. And you're right. In January, a new mayor will take over, and that'll be an exciting time. It's been 12 years since we've had a new mayor, and so it'll be a change. And so we will all look forward to that day to see what comes forward from there.
Yeah, I just add. I do think it's. Sorry.
Yeah.
I would just add. I think for both council and the administration, I think it's prudent that we're putting money aside for the rainy day fund. We're putting money aside for future budgets. It's no secret that we've had significant challenges with our attracting talent, right? Just like every private and public sector industry in America. We've had to realign our cost structure accordingly to make sure that we're paying at a level that attracts employees, and making sure that we are holding money back that a year from now, 2 years from now, that we haven't locked ourselves into pay levels that we then don't have the revenue to support, I think is important. And I would compliment the administration on making sure that that's done as well, so that they're not handing a bag of goods to the next administration or the next council.
Anyone else?
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We'll all get that.
Okay, you guys. I'm not going back upstairs.
Oh yeah, that's where it came out.
It seems like that is where.
Yeah.
You guys have a good day.
No. Okay.
Goodbye.
Yeah.
What would you support now?
What?
A permanent one.
Where?
Taylor.
Depends on where it is.
I think it should be at Injustice.